Extreme Steam Team.
Hey, Jurassic Jessica, you're looking patriotic today.
I sure am, Billy the Goat. I'm wearing red, white, and blue because we'll be celebrating July 4th in a few days.
July 4th, sounds fun, but what is it?
You got to be kidding me! 4th of July is Independence Day. It celebrates the day that the Declaration of Independence was adopted.
Jessica, that joke was bad. But July 4th is good. How are we celebrating?
Well, the Extreme Steam Team is learning about service dogs. Our friend Petrie is going to talk to Julie Sanderson from Patriot Service Dogs. It's an organization that raises service dogs, trains them, and places them with veterans that need our help.
Wow! Let's go to the dish with Petrie to see what they learned about veterans and service dogs.
Hello, kids! Welcome to the Dish with Petrie, and I'm your host, Petrie. Yay! All right. Today we will be having a special guest coming to us from somewhere there, where there are lots of familiar animals. Let's check the Petrie scope right now. Beep boop, beep beep boop. Wow! Why, it's Miss Julie from Patriot Service Dogs.
Hello, Petrie. It's so nice to be here.
Hello, Miss Julie. How are you doing?
Yay, I'm so excited.
I'm excited too! Wow! So I have a lot of questions to ask you today.
Okay.
Alright, so what is it that you do at Patriot Service Dogs?
Well, one of the things I'm lucky enough to do is I get to train service dogs. So I get to start working with an 8-week-old puppy, and then I watch it grow until it's about 2. And then I get to work with veterans and help them learn what we do with the puppy so that it can benefit them.
Wow, so what is a veteran, Miss Julie?
That's a great question. So a veteran is someone who has been in the military. So maybe in the Army or the Coast Guard or the Marines. Anytime they've served in the military, then they are called a veteran once they retire.
Oh, okay. What is a service dog, Miss Julie?
So a service dog is a dog that's trained to do tasks for someone who has a disability or a need. So our dogs are trained to do 85 tasks. So they are able to, by the time they graduate, they're able to turn on lights. They can take off someone's shoes. They can assist someone opening the cabinet. They can help someone stand up from when they're sitting in a chair. A dog can brace and help you stand up. So we teach the dog 85 different commands so that once we place them, they can help somebody be more independent.
Wow, 85 commands.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I can only do like probably 20 of them.
Yeah, but it takes the dog 2 years. So it's not like we teach them all when they're puppies. We kind of teach them as they grow. Much like when you're in school, you don't learn everything you're going to learn when you're in first grade. That's why they break it up into 12 different grades. So for our dogs, it's the same thing. They start when they're puppies learning puppy things, and then as they grow, they learn harder and harder things.
Wow, that is cool. So if I met one, how should I behave around them?
Yeah, there is service dog etiquette, and that's wonderful that you asked. So when you meet a service dog, when you see a service dog, if you're out in the grocery store and you turn the aisle and there's a dog, it's kind of surprising. But the best thing to do is to just walk past them and remember that that service dog is working for that person. So you want to make sure that you're not interrupting their working. That person needs the dog to be with them and you don't want to distract them. And I think the best way to think about it is, have you ever met someone who uses a walker or maybe a cane to walk?
Yes, my Uncle Ben.
Yes. So would you ever go up to Uncle Ben and say, I'm going to take your cane? Let me have your cane. I'm just going to, no, you wouldn't do
Oh,
No, you would never do that because your Uncle Ben needs that cane to get around. Well, the person with the service dog needs that service dog. So if you interrupt them working, it's sort of like going up to Uncle Ben and just taking away his cane. You would never do that. So think about that when you see a service dog. That dog is working, it has an important job, and you don't want to disrupt that.
yeah. Wow. So, how does Patriot Service Dogs help veterans?
So we meet with the veteran before we place them with a dog. And we know a lot about them before we place them with a dog. So we know about the veteran and then we know about the dog. And then we decide which dog would help which veteran. And then we match them up as a team. And then they have to train for 9 straight days because the dog knows the commands, but the people don't know the commands. So we teach people the commands to work with the dog.
Did you just say 9 straight days?
9 straight days. And we make it really fun. We go on boat rides and we go out to restaurants and we go shopping and we can go to the movies. So we make it really fun, but we have to train that person how to work with the dog in lots of different places. So we don't just match them up and say, here's your dog.
Yeah.
They have to learn to work together as a team.
Wow. And then you said that you take the dogs when they're like, what, 8 weeks old? Is that right?
Yeah, so as soon as they leave their mom, like when you would get a puppy, you can't get a puppy until it's 8 weeks old. And so we take them and we immediately start training. So they get to be a puppy and they get to have fun. And then we put on a little puppy vest and they start training. So we train them to sit and we train them to lay down and we train them to be quiet and we train them to bark. And so we have lots of commands and that training starts almost immediately. So when they're 8 weeks old, they're really eager to learn because they like food and we use treats. So we train when they're really young, all the way up until the time that they're 2.
Wow. So, who trains the dogs?
So I am lucky enough that oftentimes I train the people who train the dogs. And some of those people are women who are incarcerated. And incarcerated is a really big word, and it means that they're in prison. So at some point, they have done something wrong and then they go to prison. And while they're in prison, they want to give back and they want to do something with that time. So they help us train the dogs. And many times we take 8-week-old puppies and they go into prison and these women help train the dogs. So we have trainers that are in prison and then we have trainers that are outside of prison because there's not like a grocery store in prison. So the women can't train everything. So the dogs come out on the weekends so that they can have a regular life. And then they go back into prison and train with their inmate moms. That's what we call them, is their inmate moms.
Wow, that's amazing. You're not just helping veterans, but you're also helping the community.
Yeah, it's a real honor. And it helps. Sometimes kids have to go visit their mom when their mom's in prison. And it helps everybody in prison if there are dogs there. So when their moms, when their inmate moms go to visitation with their children, they bring the dog that they're training along. And it helps because the kids can be really proud of something that their mom is doing, even though it's a difficult time for the family. So we're really proud to be able to do that.
So, about the veterans, when do they come in for the 9-day training with the dogs? So
at the very end, when the dog is between 2 and 2.5, it's kind of done being a puppy and it's a little more grown up. And then we bring the veterans in and they do their 9 days of training. And sometimes we have a big group and sometimes we have a small group, but everybody goes through the same training so that they know how to handle their dog in a crowd, how to get upstairs, how to get into an elevator, how to get into a car. So we teach them all those same things, depending on when they come in. So some people are lucky enough to come in when it's cooler out, and sometimes we have training when it's hot out in the summer. So it kind of just depends. We train all year.
Wow. So the commands that you give to the dogs, are they in English?
So we do. So we have yet to have a veteran who doesn't have command of English. So because they've served in the military, they must be able to at least speak English, even though they're not all from here. So most of the commands are in English, but we also do hand signals in case you're in a crowd, or some people have trouble when they get nervous to say something that they want to say. So we teach the dogs verbal commands and also hand signals so that, like, let's say you're in a quiet place, like you're at church or at temple, and you want to tell the dog to lay down, then you're able to do a hand signal so you don't have to say down. Yeah. Petrie, do you know how to train a dog?
That was just a lucky guess.
Okay, that's exactly it. It's down. Nice job, Petrie. Nice. That's exactly it. We may call Petrie to help us out.
Yeah, I could volunteer there.
Yes, you're really good.
All right. So, how many dogs have you trained since opening or starting?
So we have trained over 100 and probably 20 dogs, but we've only placed about 50 dogs because not all the dogs that we start want to be a service dog.
Oh.
So, you know, if someone had told you, I mean, you're a great interviewer, but if someone had said, Petrie, when you grow up, you have to be a doctor, and you didn't want to be a doctor, you wanted to interview people. That's the same with dogs. Sometimes we pick them up when they're 8 weeks old and we say, you're going to make a great service dog. And that dog doesn't want to do this. Then we release the dog from the program and they just get to be a dog. So we try and let the dog decide a little bit if this is what they want to do, so that they're happy, because they have to work there for the next 10 years. So we want to make sure they're happy doing it.
Yeah, that's good. So the dogs that get owners, veteran owners, are they all here in Florida?
They're not. So we bring people in. We just had a guy who came from Baltimore, Maryland, and he came in to train with his dog, and then they flew back home to Baltimore. So the training is all done here in Florida, but our veterans come from all over. And oftentimes they train and they live in Florida, and then their life changes because they have this service dog, and now they're free to maybe move to the West Coast or move somewhere else. So we have veterans with our dogs all over the United States, and even one in the islands, in the Virgin Islands. We have a dog.
Really?
Pretty good life in the islands.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Now I want to train dogs too when I
We would
grow up.
welcome you. We would welcome you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, it was really fun to have you today, Miss Julie. I learned a lot about veterans, about service dogs, how they're trained, why they're being trained, and how you guys help the community and even the inmate moms.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me tell my story. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. You are the ultimate trainer, Miss Julie.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye. See you soon. Wow, that was exciting. Training service dogs. Yeah. All right. So before I hoof out of here and take a look at my dog, if I can train one, let's see what Chemistry Kim and Jurassic Jessica are doing right now. On to the Petrie Scope. Boop, 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 boop.
Thanks, Petrie, for that wonderful interview. This is Jude, our special guest. She's going to help us with our art project today.
Wow, those service dogs were amazing.
They sure are. I really enjoyed learning about all the ways service dogs can help veterans. Jude, what are we doing today?
I thought we could make a patriotic art project to celebrate the 4th of July. Do you know what my favorite part of the 4th of July is?
All those hot dogs?
No, but I know it's your favorite part. I really like to watch the fireworks. Today I thought we could make stained glass fireworks like this.
Wow, that's so pretty. How do we make one?
First, we're going to start with a piece of wax paper. And then we're going to use a star or something sort of shape to put in the middle. You can use any kind of shape you want. And now, here's the fun part.
We get to use glue.
Yes, we get to use glue and stick our design to our wax paper.
Fantastic.
Then we're going to take sheets of red and blue tissue paper and cut them into small pieces with our scissors. Next, we're going to take the tissue paper and
glue it on.
Exactly! We get to glue it onto the wax paper in a fun design. You get to glue it on in whatever design you like. You're going to take a brush. You can use a regular brush. You can use a foam brush like this. And you're going to take glue. We're going to put it on the wax paper first. Then we're going to stick the design on. And then we're going to put our tissue paper on. Then the last thing we're going to do is put some more glue on top of all of it so it sticks really good. Are you ready, Jessica?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go for it.
You know what I love about art?
What's that, Jurassic Jessica?
You can make art however you like. It's never wrong, and everyone's artwork comes out unique and beautiful.
That's true. You did a great job, Jurassic Jessica. I'm so glad we decided to try an art project today.
Yours looks great too, Jude. Thanks for being a part of the Extreme STEAM team. I hope everyone had as much fun as we did today. Up next, we have an amazing book talk.
Asa, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready for the 4th of July.
Sounds about right. I bet the Marion County Public Library System has a lot of books that can help us celebrate the arts, veterans, and the 4th of July this holiday weekend.
Well, if you loved our stained glass craft,
I did.
you might enjoy Malaka Gharib's book, I Was Their American Dream. This is a graphic novel with beautiful illustrations about different cultures coming together in the U.S. of Yay. You might also be familiar with her work from NPR, where she covered important stories like washing your hands using zines.
Wow. What else you have?
If you like meeting Patriot Service dogs, you can learn more about working dogs with Gabe, the dog who sniffs out danger. This book is by Thea Feldman, and it's a wonderful story about how dogs are able to help in our military.
That sounds like the kind of Yankee poodle dandy I want by my side. It also reminds me of another great book about a patriotic pooch called Tuesday Tucks Me In. It's by Luis Carlos Montalvan and Brett Witter, and it's about Tuesday, a loyal service animal who helps make anything possible and follows a veteran through a typical day's adventures. Adults might recognize the book's author from his best-selling memoir, Tuesday's Promise.
We'll fire up the barbecue.
And powder those wigs.
You should really
Check these out.
Can't wait to see you next week.
Bye.